Y'all, I'm admiring my two little tomatoes. This is a bush early girl. We're learning there is different plants here in Kentucky than Louisiana. You are limited in Louisiana because of the heat. So I didn't go too far outside the box of my comfort zone. Y'all know that I'm not one that wants to test plants. No, I'm gonna stay within my region, my comfort zone, and see what happens. But this is a new one for me. So I'm gonna take that the bush early girl, by the research I did, it's no different than maybe a better boy as far as the flesh. It's definitely not a paste tomato. So I'm really curious about it. It's a beautiful plant. It's got a lot of blooms, and I've got 2 tomatoes. But anyhow, we're here not to talk about plants. We're here to talk about testing water. Pond water, well water, nature, rainwater. So I gotta send Buddy to go get my pond water, and then he's gonna bring me my pond water back, and we're fixing to test some soil first, and we're gonna see where this experiment goes. But y'all, I'm excited to see. It's new for me, and it was like a light bulb went off on our live last Friday, and I was like, I got 3 sources of water. Now I can answer my own questions, because I've always wondered, rainwater, well water, pond water. We're blessed to have those 3 water sources available. So he's gonna go draw it up, and I'll meet you back at the plants.
All right, everybody, I'm out here. Got to get Lippy a little pond water, okay? Now we're gonna try to do this the easy way. You know, she got an experiment she's working on, so I figure she's gonna need more than just a bucket or 2 here and there. So I'm gonna try to set this up. I've got a little submersible pump, and I got a little tailgater generator, and I'm gonna try to hang this pump off the end of this pier, and we're gonna see if that little tailgater has enough power to run it. You'll be the first to know, just like I am. But I'm just gonna hang this with this chain, and I ain't gonna fix it right now, but all I'm gonna do is get it right in the water. And I got a little old screw here. Just gonna put a screw in where I can hook it and unhook it. That way when I come down here to get water, because I know it's gonna be more often than not, I can just hook it up. All right, I'm getting the water hose hooked up to it, and then I'll get the extension cord hooked to the generator. I did bring a GFCI plug just in case something goes wrong, I don't get electrified, you know. But we're gonna see how this works out. I'll get it all hooked up, and then we'll fire it up, and y'all see just as soon as I will. All right, got the cord hooked up, water hose hooked up, GFCI connector, got the bucket sitting here. Now's the time to figure this out. I don't know if that little dude's gonna run that pump. If it's not, then we're gonna have to just bail water until I can figure out, or I may just strap the big generator on the back of Mud and Mabel and bring it down here, because Mud and Mabel is the only way I get down here, because the tractor's down, you know, I get no truck or nothing back here. I don't want to be bailing water and toting it all the way up there. It's 500 yards at the house. Fresh out on that. So let's see what happens.
Okay, hope you can see me. I want to be able to show you the 3 jalapenos that we're going to be working with, okay? Now, what I did before I turned the camera on, I got my ledger. This is my garden ledger that I use every year. And I actually use ledger paper. So I always show seed start, germination date, graduating up a cell, transfer to soil, harvest start date, harvest end date. It's just the way that I keep up journaling my garden. So let me get to my paper, because I just jotted it down on a sheet of paper. So this is going to be the pond water, and I've marked it with a P for pond water. This one is the rainwater. This one is the well. Now what I did to test, I might have to get my glasses on, y'all. To test the pH, instead of using the well water, I went in and I drew up my Lexapure. That was to test all 4 of these. So therefore, we're not using well water. So we're going to get a clean slate reading. So I pulled up 5 cups of Lexapure water. But I'm going to give you these numbers, okay? On the pH, I was at a pH 7.5, okay, alkaline. I'm okay with that. I like it to stay between a 7 and a 7.5. That seems to be the sweet spot, okay? So then I had to let these other 3 actually sit. This was an immediate test. And what I did is this is the same soil now, guys. I took just soil from one because it's all came from one big vat. It wasn't different bags. This was in a large trailer full of soil. Now this I let sit for an hour, okay? You can usually let them sit anywhere between an hour to 24 hours depending on the settlement of the soil. Now mine was a little on the heavier side, but within an hour it had dropped to the bottom, and what water I had left is what I used to test. Okay, so we're going to start with the phosphorus, which is your P-test is what they're calling it on these. Now I'm going to show you the kit that I use, okay? This shocked me, and I'm going to tell you why. It was a P3, okay? It's sufficient. I was not expecting that, to be honest with you, from this compost that we got. And the reason why I'm saying that is it's good compost, don't get me wrong, but it's got a lot of pieces of bark in it. It surprised me, but we're sufficient on that, okay? Then we're going to go to the potash. It was adequate. I really needed to, I've got to raise the potash up, but I'm not going to right now because these are still young. That's why I'm going to test a week from now. So we're only at an adequate. We're at a K2. I really need to get that up to about a K3. That's where my happy place is. Okay? Nitrogen. How about deficient? I would almost say instead of an N1, I would almost say depleted by the color. I don't know if I would even give it, well, now that it's sitting here, okay, I'm going to accept an N1, very deficient. Well, you need that for this. But I'm going to tell y'all what I did. Okay, so we have our numbers. We know where we're at, okay? Now, when I plant my starts, let me set this down. I have my soil, and I amend my soil with perlite. I want it a little loose. But about 3/4 down, I take a handful of triple 13, okay? Here, I'm gonna do triple 15 because that's what they sell. That's what I got. And I take and I put just a chunk, not a big handful. I don't know if you're gonna measure 2 tablespoons. And I put that 3/4 down. And then I cover that with the soil. And then I come back with a generous amount, palm handful of garden lime, organic garden lime. I use it on my hydrangeas. And I put a handful of that. I don't ever have any problems about no root rot, yelling, nothing. That's what I use. Comes in a bag about like that. You see a big old pink hydrangea on it. It's just garden lime. I cover that with soil, and then I go in with my plant. These plants were planted a week ago yesterday. So today is May the 10th. A week ago yesterday is when we planted them. But you see that nitrogen from that fertilizer has not broke down enough. So I'm not too concerned this first week. I think as I water, because they're granules, that's a slow release. I will probably come in with an emulsion, and I'll show y'all next week what I use if I don't see a drastic change. Because remember, I fertilize at the bottom. I'm not trying to burn anything. So that's where our numbers are, y'all. Now, we won't be using the Elixapure. We only did that for the testing. But in this bucket here is my rainwater. There's 2 buckets here that's got screw-on lids. And I guess, let's see, Buddy drew that up yesterday. I believe it was yesterday we went out to the pond. Matter of fact, I think y'all just saw him drawing it up. And then we've got the well, which is a water hose sitting not 3 feet from me. So we're going to water these. We're going to test next week, and we're going to see what the difference is. I'm excited, as I know most of you are. It's my first time to ever test 3 different water sources. I'll be honest with you. I've always used just well water, or I use rainwater. That's what we had, available. We had the swamp, but Lippy wasn't going to get in them swamps. Not in, nope. Yeah, they got them little slimy things that like to get you, and So we did what we could. So here's our test run. We're gonna see where it goes, y'all. I am excited, very excited to see. So it's time for coffee. I think it's like 3:45, so my coffee's getting cold. We'll see y'all back in about a week.